Glad you're watching. Hi guys, welcome back.
Well, finally made it back again. Actually, I had a video ready ever since last Friday, Thursday or Friday, and I got ready to download it, and once again I'm having editor problems. I've had editor problems for the last 2 or 3 weeks off and on. I've tried like 15, 20 different editors, and I've had glitches. They've lost my product. They wouldn't export it. Just all kinds of problems. And so I did all that recording for nothing. And the pictures are still locked in my photos. I don't know if my photos has got something to do with it, but I can't seem to get them out. And so I'm doing this all over again, which means this is the third time. And the first time was actually the build, and you would have gotten to see it being built step by step. The second time was because I couldn't show you the first time, which was the build done up until then. It wasn't quite as far as completed as it is now, and it would not let me show you that one either. And so now here we are to this one. And anyway, I'm not trying to do a long explanation or a long I just want to finish this engine. I was just really happy and really pleased about being able to build it and show it to you. So anyway, having said all that, here's the engine in its current together form. And I apologize once again that you didn't get to see the whole build. And it is what it is. So, on with the video. This is, guys, Lord Nelson. This is a Hornby shell from 1932. This is a 3C, a Lord Nelson 3C. And Hornby did several different versions of this, but they used the same shell for all their versions. This was a 32, and one of the ways we know it was a 32 for sure is that it was a clockwork shell. Now, Hornby used the clockwork shells from 1928 to 1935. In 35, they actually made some changes to the clockwork shell, but the majority of them still had the hole there. And the major change they made was to the boiler front. Now, I drilled this hole out in here and made a lens for it. And I made this lens by using some all-purpose cement and one of those little plastic bumpers. Now, I've showed you those plastic bumpers in past videos. You can buy them at the hardware store, Walmart, Dollar Tree, the dollar stores, the grocery stores, and they come in a little package on a little card, and they're plastic, clear, and they're dome shaped. They also have flat ones in the package. I'm out of the dome-shaped ones, and so I only had the flat one in the package. So what I did was, I drilled this hole, and then took one of the flat ones and put it on the back side. And before I put it on the back side, I drilled a hole down through the center of it. The purpose of the hole down through the center of it was twofold. One, so that, and I guess I'll be doing some more work to it. One, so that I could, when I put the all-purpose cement or the all-purpose glue in there, it would go down into the hole and create a center and a solid center. And that way the light will transform, and as it comes through that solid center, it not only lights up around the outside, but it has a solid light, an almost pure light effect through the middle. Looks more like the bulb is right up front. And so, anyway, that's what I did, and I may go back later on and build this up a little more to get a little more dome effect out of it, because as it dried out, it flattened on me. And that happens. But if you just build it back up, it will go out, get a more dome effect. Okay, this particular shell, as you can see, has several different scratches. But if it weren't for the scratches on it, the shell would be almost perfect. It has those scratches, and then it has a couple of dents right here in the cowling on the platform. And I tried to get those dents out, and I got them out pretty good. But you can still hold them in the light just right, and you can still tell they're there. But they're not taking anything away from the shell itself. Although if I keep dropping it, it will. Also, this shell was missing the handrails, and it was missing 3 of the handrail pins. One here, and here. What I use is what I generally always use, unless I don't have any, is the cotter pins. The cotter pins work great. Some people call them cotter keys. And they work great, and you can hardly tell, or if you can tell without looking very, very closely, that they're not the same as these. Put them in the holes, get them real tight, and then put my wire through them. Now my wire, the process I use this time, which normally or a lot of times, I'll just take the wire and I'll cut it to fit the length of the side of the engine. This time I used the full length wire. I got one wire all the way around. This boiler slotted behind the boiler front, and so I took and left about a 1/4 inch, a little more on each end of this, folded it dead center, and pulled it back, put it through the loops, and did it like a Marx engine, as these have these windows. You can see right there. Put it through the hole and bend it down, which is the way they did with the all the early Marx steam. Works great. What I use for this is like piano wire. I think I've showed you that before. It's called hanging wire. See if I've still got it out here. This particular roll package that I got was called cutting wire, and you use it for hanging pictures, heavy pictures up on the wall. You can use it for hanging a lot of things. It's really a strong wire, and it has a lot of kind of spring to it. And once you get it set in place, get it straight, because it is round, and so as you unwind it, you have to kind of gently straighten it out a bit, depending upon where you're putting it in your purpose, as I did with this. But once you get it straight and you get it taut, as I did this, it takes a little bit of force even to bend it, and that's what I like about it. Not like the copper, ionized, copper wire, the chrome and all the other ones. This is very similar to what they used on the early trains. Not quite as heavy, but just about the same roundness. Okay, let's talk about other modifications. Well, as always, this has a Marx engine in it. And most generally, if I build one of these, it's going to always have a Marx engine in it. Why? Two reasons. One, I'm partial to Marx. And Marx, I think, is the best automotive power for these. Now, I'm not saying anything against the Lionel power. They're great motors, great engines, but for this purpose, these fit these shells the best. They're almost made almost identical as to length and size and mounting. They mount almost the identical same way, and so you don't have quite as much work with them as you do trying to mount another type of motor. So there's a lot of reasons why you would want to use these. Plus, as you know, parts, or at least most parts, you can come by, and I'm sorry, but I just think that Marx outlives everything else. Marx runs even when nothing else won't run, and so it's reliable and it's dependable. This is a pre-war motor, and this came out of a 999, which a lot of the motors I use on these comes out of 999s. Every once in a while I use a 666 or a 1666. But the majority of the motors come out of the 999s. Okay, in order to set these, because they do, as I said, they're similar to Marx the way they sit. They have a plate, but their plate is different. Their plate in actuality is more like the plate they used on their little diesels from Marx. And so I built a plate for it, this front plate, and I built a back plate. I don't know whether you can see it now or not. Well, maybe if I turn it this way. can see it down in there. The white right there. This has a Marx rear truck on it. And you have to adjust that truck more times than not to get it set just right for the back of this engine. So it takes a little bending, a little straightening. So you want to take your time with it, because too much straightening and bending will cause it to break. They do break easily. And this is it, and it's so we've done the handrails, we've done the boiler front, added the lens for the light, we put in the motor that has a light, we've made the brackets front and back, mounted, got the rear truck on, and now we need the front truck. And here's my dilemma. Out of all the parts I have, and I thought I had a front truck for it, and I do, but I can't modify it for this engine. So I need a front truck. One off of Marx 333 or a 1829 would be preference, or it's the same one on all the front pony trucks for the Marx engine that are four-wheel. If you guys have a pony truck that I can use on this, that you would send, I'd appreciate it. Just contact me. I'll give you the contact information, and I'd appreciate it. And even if you want numeration for it, let me know. I'd be glad to pay you for it. Having said that, that's the biggest thing that's keeping me from finishing or completing the engine right now. Also, these engines had rod guides that came out of the steam chest. And when I built the Prince of Wales, which is a 6-wheel, 462. And when I built the Prince of Wales, I had taken the guide rails off of this also because they were broken. And I didn't use, and it looks good without them. I do have a couple of engines that I used a whole 9.9 chassis in order to produce that similar effect. These take a little more work, a little more fitting. Not terrible a lot. Once you get everything aligned and everything, they're okay. but it pushes your steam chest out a little further than what I really would like them to be pushed out, because the Marx steam chest is still in. And there's probably another way to do that, but I have not taken the time to figure that out yet, so it's not that important to me. These are custom rebuilds. They're not meant to be perfect, but to be customizingly rebuild the engine so that it can be used and ran and looked at and enjoyed. And I think that's a pretty good looking engine, just as it is. How about you? But anyway, these guides have two holes, one there and one there, that hold those guides on. And so as you can see, I filled those holes with body filler. And so I yet need to sand those down and take some green paint and touch it up. Finish putting the boiler front on because the tabs are still out. I haven't bent them down and crimped them down yet. And get our front truck on. One of the unusual things about this shell, and I want to share this with you before I leave you with this today, is that this particular shell had all of its steps. 2, 3, and 4. And that's rare. It really is. Even for one that's in great shape and not just a shell. So I'm really pleased about that. Because what I was doing was they would come as I got them with one step or two steps. And so I've been taking the old steps off that have been left on and trying to build up the steps to where I'd have some steps eventually. And then I'd have to solder them on because I don't think glue would hold them very well. So I've actually gotten to like them without the steps. So when they come without steps now, I'm not going to worry about steps anymore. I might add a type of step onto them later on. But as I said, they look good, just like they are, I think. Please feel free to let me know what you think, because I'd like to know how they've looked to you. There's a number of videos on there on the transition of these. And please go back and look at them. The repower, custom repowers, custom rebuild repowers, and see what you think. Like I said, they're modified engines. To the purist, no, it'll never fly. But to those of us who just love trains and love the trains that we never otherwise could have had, but can now have because we can combine the two and make one and have two of the best trains put together on earth. That's right, Marx and Hornby. Two of the best matchups that a guy could have. And I think it's great. I really do. And that's all I have for you today. I'll do another video later on when I get the front truck and get it on. That's, like I said, basically the only thing that's holding me up, because I'm not going to do anything else to it now until I get the front truck on. I was going to show you run today, but I'm going to wait and show you how it runs, if it still runs after me having dropped it today. I'm going to show you how it runs in the next video. So I've been watching eBay and trains, and so I've been looking for a front truck. I figure it's going to take me 7 to 10 days to get one by mail. Don't have any hobby shops, don't have any places like that around me here. Closest one is 2 and some hours away, and they might not have it, because they're not all full service hobby shops. But anyway, if you enjoy running your trains, you enjoy working on your layout, building your trains, no matter what scale, or maybe you have other hobbies. Maybe you're just a modelist or a model builder, or you like to do modules. Whatever it is, you should have happy rims. Once again, you say, well, G-Man, how can I have happy rails if my hobby's not with rails? Well, remember, trains run on tracks, and you run on the rails. All right. Until next time, bye-bye.